deconverted man, deconverted man, deconverted man, deconverted man here. Truth be told, science versus God, finally ending this stupid debate. Ah, yes, everyone has tried to do it, but this God among us mortals will finally put it to bed. Yes, he will end this stupid debate, and it will never, never, ever crop up again.
Hey everybody, thought this would be a really good time to finally put this to bed and just debunk it completely and throw it out the window, because honestly, this is something that we have given so much attention to in the past, and going forward we need to give far less attention to. But it's high time we get into the discussion, because this is something that plagues and haunts Christians all the time, and it just simply doesn't need to anymore. Whenever a Christian or any type of theist really enters into a discussion, a debate, or a dialogue with someone who is of an atheistic persuasion or skeptical or a naturalist, we're often made to feel as if we are on two ends of a spectrum. You're on Team God, they're on Team Science.
Well, you are on a different team, but that's because of group dynamics and how humans work. We like to be on sides. You know, you're on that side, I'm on this side, you're on the red shirts, I'm on the green shirts, non-skins, whatever, you know. And that's something we do, whether it's a good thing or not, or a bad I don't know. It's just something we do. But science explores reality as best as it can, and if you can test it, if you can study it, if you can make some prediction of it, if you can make a model about it, if you can use some formula about it, you know, there's something there, then that's scientific in nature. And if not, then it isn't. And as far as any believer of God or supernatural, paranormal, whatever it is, magical stuff, if you simply say that you believe that those things are true, great. No arguments needed. It's when you say that those things are real, do you need then to prove that they're real in some way, shape, or form? If you had proof, that would fall into the scientific proof of some sort. We'd have a way to demonstrate it. We'd have a way to test it. We'd have a way to make predictions about it. We'd have a model. We'd have something to go on. But we don't have that when it comes to God, for various reasons, one of which you're actually going to bring up later on.
And never the twain shall meet. They cannot interact with one another. You have to choose, and you have to defend your side. And this is really frustrating because, for one, it is a false dichotomy. And for two, it's a red herring. And for three, it really frustrates me because Christians often enter into this field thinking, well, I'm looking at this person here. I have compassion for them. I want to discuss this in good faith. So I'll meet them where they are. I'll bring.
Okay, well, you said it's false dichotomy. How is it a false dichotomy? A choice between science or something that isn't science. Is that what you're saying? That is a true dichotomy, because God is not scientific at all, not even a little. And you're going to admit that, like I said, very soon here. So you are taking up a non-scientific position the moment that you proclaim that there is a God that's real. You need to then defend that. So either you're going to have to defend it with science, or you're going to have to use some method that we can trust other than science to get us to the conclusion. I don't know what that method would be. The only thing that's remotely close would be formal or informal logic. So you would need some sort of valid and sound argument for that, which I don't think you're going to have.
God with me into the field of science, and I'll show them how he works, how compatible he is with that view. But the problem is, those people won't let God into that field. And so you have
That's incoherent, and that's just not true. God, I don't know what that is. Anything can be studied. That is something that can be studied. If it can't be studied, well, then it can't be studied. If it can't be studied, then it's not something that comes into the field of science. We can't do anything with something that has nothing to look at. If we have no observational data to work with, we have no hypothesis, no formula, no test, no prediction, no anything, then we can't do science on that. And that's not us. That's how it works. That's the system. You're not allowed entry unless you can show that you have a ticket. You're saying, look, I have an invisible ticket. We're saying you're not allowed in. You need a visible ticket. You can only come in with a visible ticket. That's the only type of tickets we accept. That's not us that set that up. Well, not atheists or skeptics. That's how science works, period. End of story. It's not our fault that God is not a scientific thing. That's on you guys.
to kind of leave him at the door to try and prove something that's outside of the field of science by using everything within the field of science. And this just...
Right. And you're almost getting the problem right. The whole problem of God is that there isn't a way to prove it. Atheists have been saying that since there have been atheists. You make a claim. You have the burden to prove that claim is true. That's how that works. Hey, there's a giant behind that mountain. He's really, really big, and he's hiding behind that mountain. Okay, prove it. Well, if we get too close, he might eat you. All right, prove it, though. Prove that there's a giant behind the mountain. Well, if I go near it, it might eat me. Okay, then what reason do I have to believe in you? To believe what you're saying? Just trust me. It's really there. No, that's not good enough. You need something that proves it. So if you don't have something that proves it, then we have to doubt it. And so there is what God is. It is a unfalsifiable, untestable, unproven claim that people make about the nature of reality. There's a thing that nobody can see, nobody can test it, nobody can verify it. You just have to trust me that it's there. Why? Why should I? There's nothing to prove that it's there. That's the problem. So why are you insisting that it's there when there's nothing to prove that it's there?
It doesn't work. The reality of the situation is God and science are not antithetical. They're not antagonistic towards one another.
Wrong. If God is a thing that exists in reality, then there's no reason that it should not be testable in some way, shape, or form by the methodologies of science. There's simply no reason for that, other than, well, there's bad reasons, but there's no, well, by reason I mean, good reason, obviously. There's no coherent answer to why that should be. And it depends what you mean by God, of course. What you think God is and how you think God works. But if God is in reality, then there should be some way to test for it. There should be the same amount of evidence for it that we have for everything else. We don't have that evidence for it. So whatever God is not something that shares the same reality with the rest of us. Perhaps then it is a fantasy. It is something we made up. It is a construct of the mind. It is imagined. It is pretend. It is fiction. It isn't really real. It's like Jar Jar Binks. Maybe you like it. Maybe you hate it. But it's not really real beyond just an idea. And if you can't show that it's real, then it's not science. And yes, it would be against science. Just as much as it would be to say that Jar Jar Binks is real and then say, well, but that's not anti-science. Sure it is. Because you can't make a statement about reality without proving that that statement is true. And if you're not going to use science, then how are you going to prove it's true? By using not science. Oops.
They are not opposites. They work together beautifully if you're thinking about them both correctly.
Oh, okay. That's been the problem. The theists, all the theists that have ever come before you, and all the atheists that have ever come before you, they just thought incorrectly about this. Oh, please enlighten us, oh wise one.
Science is a wonderful thing. It deals in the natural world and how things work. It deals in the observable, the testable, and the repeatable, and the falsifiable, actually. So it deals in all of these things that can be proven within the natural world. Tests are done, hypotheses are made, and experiments are happening, and then people come to conclusions, and we learn things, and we grow. This is all great, but God...
Yes, thanks to science, you have glasses that allow you to see better than your vision would otherwise. You have a jacket that's keeping you warm, even though you're inside. I'm not sure why you have a jacket. You have insulation. There's many things to thank for science. It's funny how God doesn't seem to do diddly squat. Science has done a lot. What has God done again? I don't see anything that God's done lately. Actually, I don't even think that God's done anything at all. It's just, what has God done? Please show me something that God's done. And then show me that that is really something that God did. How will you do that? What system will you use? Not science, right? So if you're not using science, then what are you using?
God, by definition, transcends science.
According to whose definition exactly? Yours? According to your definition of this word, it transcends, whatever that means, science. Okay, that's nice. Now prove that it actually does that. It is not of any use to say, well, but that's what the word is defined as. That's nice. But we need to demonstrate that the word is actually that thing in the first place. Hey, magic transcends science. That's how it's defined. Okay, now what? That doesn't prove that it's a thing. I have to show you that it's a thing that I can then say that category belongs in this category that is outside of science. Now, how am I going to do that? I need some method to prove that. Well, I have no method. So what I have then is an empty claim that nobody should believe.
Transcends the natural world that science explains and discusses and interacts within.
Prove it. Great. Prove it. Prove that that's true. Prove that that's really what God is. Not that that's what you've defined God as. Prove that God is those things. That those things are something that anything can even be in the first place. What proof do you have for that? You don't. You can't have proof of that. You've already admitted that you don't have proof of that and that you can't have proof of it. So why should we believe you?
And so you cannot prove God by the natural world when he, by definition, is of a supernatural world.
That's your definition. That's what you've decided is the case. You now need to demonstrate that there is a supernatural world. If you cannot or will not do it, why should we believe that there's a supernatural world? You can't just define something into existence and say, of course there's a magical realm that you can't see, verify, touch, interact with at all. Of course there is. Just believe me. Okay, if that's how things, is that how things work? Okay, well then, I've got a little simple challenge for you, truth be told guy, who didn't tell me his name. Does he have no, I don't know his name. I don't know his name. His logo's by Matt, so I'm going to call him Matt. I don't know, that's his name. I don't know what his name is. Anyways, okay, Matt, or whatever. That distracted my brain. I'm going to make a claim. If you take a frying pan and several eggs, raw eggs, put them in the frying pan, whisk them up, put it in a bowl, dump that bowl on your head. If you do that, obviously you have to record it and send me the recording of you doing this. If you do that, you will gain temporary ability to levitate 2 inches off of the ground for about 3 seconds, maybe 4. Are you going to do it? Are you going to do that? Are you going to perform those actions that I listed out? If not, why not? If so, I want the tape, and we'll see where this goes. Now, I suspect strongly that not only will he not do it, but nobody will do that challenge. Nobody will do it unless somebody really, really, really wants to try to prove a point, I guess, and debunk it. But see, that's the thing. It's not up to you to debunk it. It's actually up to me to prove that it would work in the first place. Now, if I had a convincing video of me doing this and then me floating, maybe you would do it. But maybe you'd be kind of skeptical that it's plausible or true. Maybe you'd want more tests. Maybe you'd want more data. Maybe you'd want more proof because it's not something we've seen is possible, right? But you're not just going to do it because I said to do it and that it's going to have some result, because the burden has not been upheld by me. And I say, oh, well, see, the thing is with this action you're about to perform, you can't test it. And you say, well, no, but it has a result. If you do it, you levitate. Well, only sometimes. Oh, you didn't say that before. Wow. I mean, I thought that was a given, Only sometimes you levitate. You have to really believe that you're going to levitate in order to levitate. You have to believe it. If you don't believe it, it won't work. Oh, now I can just move the goalpost back forever and say you didn't believe hard enough, and that's why it failed, right? And that's the problem with an unfalsifiable, untestable claim, is you can set it up in a way that it's just not proven. There's no proof of it. There's no way to test it. And that's it. And then when it fails, you just go, well, that didn't count. I'll bring up something from my past. Why not? S.J. Thomason, a famous Christian apologist on YouTube. Not famous. We were married for a while. Not really. And she made this claim on Twitter when it was still Twitter. Now it's X, But at any rate, she said that she knows when somebody is in the room that's like evil or bad or has a negative aura or however she put it. And that's why she doesn't want to hang around atheists in real life. And I said, oh, I'll give you $1,000 to prove it. $1,000. And she's like, well, just because you can't test something doesn't mean it's not true. No, that's actually exactly what that means. You're not willing to even test this. You know it's going to fail the test. Absolutely. No doubt in her mind. She knew that any test that I proposed, it would fail. Why? Because she knew it was bullshit. But why did she say it? Because it sounds good. That's why. She wants to believe it, and she wants to believe it doesn't need to be tested to prove that it would work. And somewhere in her mind, she knows that if it was tested, it would fail that test, and then she'd have to deal with the fact that it didn't prove that it worked. And so she says, well, it doesn't mean it doesn't work. No, it does. You don't have any test for us to run on these ideas. You have nothing to offer, so why should we believe you?
Now, yes, he does interact in the natural world, but the crazy thing about this is science dealing in the natural world desires a miracle from God. They say, well, if God...
Science dealing in the natural world desires a... What? Say that again. Science doesn't have desires. People have desires. I think what you meant to say is that people want a miracle. That would be interesting. Of course, I do have a couple videos dealing with the problem of identifying miracles. That's a you guys problem because you guys pretend that miracles are a thing. I don't. But let's get into that, shall we?
God would just do a miracle, then we would believe it. And yet when God does a miracle, science says, well, that wasn't a miracle. It has to be explained by nature. And so,
well, no, it's more like when we see something that we might think is a miracle, we need to test it and figure out what the hell is going on. Because it's probably not a miracle. It's probably mundane. It's probably there's some explanation for it. Now, herein comes the part of the problem of identifying what a miracle is. Let's say that we have all the scientists in the entire world. We have a lab full of all the equipment that we could hope to have. We have everybody that's there, every smart person working on this problem. There's a, there's a red cube that's hovering in the air, and you can't touch it. You pass through it. And it's just hovering there. That's all it's doing. It's not doing anything. It's not radiating electricity or radiation. It's just there. It's just floating. And nobody can figure out what the bleep it is or how it works or why it's there, what it's for, or what it's doing. Why did it show up here now? What the bleep? And they're testing it and they're trying to figure out. And of course people are going to say it's a miracle. Of course they are. I'm not. I'm going to say, well, that's weird. What the bleep is that about? Let's figure it out. Now, let's say we exhaust everything that we can think to throw at this thing. And we're just like, well, we don't know what the bleep this is. And then it vanishes. Just boom, it's gone. That's it. And it never comes back. And that's the end of that. Well, there's going to be religions about it. There's going to be people that form all sorts of beliefs about it. People are going to say it's a government thing. It's a God thing. It's an antichrist thing. But the skeptics are going to be like, we don't know what it was, but that was interesting. And that's it. Oh, well, why isn't it supernatural? We don't know. We don't know what it is. We only know what it isn't. We know that we couldn't figure out what it is, but that doesn't make it something that is magic. Here there be dragons. On old maps, before they knew what the world was, they just put, here there be dragons. Like, don't go here. We don't know what's over here. We think that that's the edge of the world. We don't know what's over there. You might get eaten. And people probably went over there and got killed by the waves or whatever happened to them. Who knows? And so they didn't come back. So the dragon got them. I don't know, Seemed like an explanation. A sea serpent of some sort got them. I don't know. And that's the problem that is built into the supernatural. Or the miracle, rather, is even if you had an actual miracle, how in the world would you ever actually identify it as a miracle without performing logical fallacy of appeal to ignorance or appeal to personal incredulity and say, well, I don't know. We've run out of options. It must be a miracle. How do we know that a miracle is even a thing? That's a you problem. It's not an us problem. But if I saw something that was fantastical, that would be interesting. I'd want to study it. But we have zero examples of anything fantastical to actually study. And the things that have been mentioned as quote-unquote miracles are rather mundane and boring in nature. And of course, people never let us test them. The Lady of Fatima, for example, that's a great one. Here's a statue that... It survived some acid dripping on it, and its paint didn't melt, and it survived a couple explosions. Well, that sounds cool. Let me have my hands on that statue for a day or so. Let me try to blow that thing up. Let me try to melt it with some acid. If nothing works, then I'll believe you. Oh, they don't want me near it. Why not? They don't want anyone to test it. That's interesting. Why is that? Oh, because it would fail the test, right? And then it wouldn't be magical anymore.
So they want him to do a natural miracle. But if he did a natural miracle, they'd say, no, that's just the laws of nature.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like God to do something, anything that is demonstrably demonstratable. I've asked this many times, so I'm going to plug in my webcam. Might make me go offline a second. If it does, I'll rejoin here. We'll edit that out. We'll see what happens. Okay, I'm plugging in the. Hey, look, I'm still on. It's. See what happened? I told you that was going to happen. You didn't believe me though. Okay, starting. Okay, that's not the right thing. Is this the right thing? Here we go. Okay. Oh, there we go. Meh. Good enough. Mediocrities is my shirt today. So yes. All right, one of these days I'm going to make the damn fucking thing work. Am I here? Am I alive? Am I real? I don't know. Yes, I think I am. Hello? Somebody say something. I don't know if it's working. Yeah, it looks like it's working. I'm assuming it's working. Anyways, all right. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. I've got some stuff here. I've got these little cute little potions. They're not actually potions, but they look like a little potion, doesn't it? It's like, I'm gonna drink some. Yes, I've got that. It's fairly heavy. It's not. It's just like plastic. I can easily lift it. It's not that hard. Okay. So I'm gonna just put it here in my hand and say, okay, God, if you can hear my voice, could you please pick this thing off of my hand and make it float in the air, for a little bit, not that long, just a couple seconds. It would be cool, no, okay. Maybe you can't hear me. Maybe I didn't say it the right way. Maybe I'm not asking nicely enough. Please, God, pretty please, with sugar on it. I'd really like it. I'd appreciate it. No? Nothing? Okay, well, I mean, all right, maybe that was too hard. I don't know. How about this? I'll put it on my forehead. Okay, and no, it's not going to stay. Come on, stay. Stay. Yes. Okay. Oh, man. Well, I don't know. Maybe God just doesn't feel like doing it right now. How about blue sheep? Can you? It's not staying on my head. Okay, blue sheep. So can you like levitate the blue sheep, God? Knock it off my. Oh, there. It got knocked off my head, but that was me doing that. That wasn't God doing it. So doesn't really, I need, come on, God, do something. Nothing. So, okay, either God can't hear me or it doesn't want to do anything right now. And so I can't test God. All right, that would have been interesting to have, but that didn't happen. So back where I started, I guess. Anyways, back to the video, I guess. I don't know why I'm saying I guess. What the hell is up with my hair? Hey, God, fix my hair. Nothing.
So which one is it? It can't be both, but I cannot prove to you God, who is outside of the scientific field, within the scientific field, because it has its limitations. And this is normal and good for all fields of study and all disciplines. Yet science has become this almost like a God figure where it's supposed to be all encompassing. It's true. If you believe only in the natural world, you're going to have a really hard time believing in God who is outside of the natural world, because science is not meant to explain these things in depth. Some of the other limitations.
How do you know that? How do you know what science is meant to explain or not? What the hell are you even talking about?
Within the field of science are moral values or subjective experiences, ultimate purpose of existence.
So what? even if those things aren't within the field of science, which they could be, there's actually fields of science that study those things. Psychology, study of people, that is a thing that happens. People do study people. Oh, yeah, that happens in science. Morals are studied by science. Yes, we can do that. I know, it's amazing. There's social sciences. Yeah, that studies the social things. It's actually done. So you're wrong about that. Why am I talking like this? I don't know. Why am I irritated? Because of this. That's why I'm irritated. Because of this. This is why I'm irritated. This is what? A different thing, and my hair's all messed up, and God won't fix my hair. Fix my hair, God. Why won't you fix my hair, God? Anyway, what? What do you want, phone? I'm on the thing! Sorry. Back to the video.
Free will, historical events. These are things that are outside of the field of science, and so they can be
Wait. Historical events are outside the field of science? Yeah, archaeology. That's not a thing.
be helped by science. Absolutely. Like the science of archaeology helps us understand history a lot better. And
so you knew about archaeology.
Yeah, it cannot prove unequivocally that things in history happened or didn't happen.
Well, it depends on what it is. But you can use dating techniques on documents or pottery or a combination thereof to make all sorts of different predictions and inferences, and you can know what things probably occurred when and where. Depends if there's a written record or not. If there is no written record, then yeah, you don't know. It might be a guess. But here's what we assume. We assume that the natural world that we observe today, which, is what it is, that's probably how it was in the past. So that if somebody wrote something down and says that they saw a human jump into the air and fly away, we have never seen that. So we go, well, that probably didn't happen. So we're going to call that mythology. See, and that's the category that we're going to put it into because we don't have any reason to believe that that's even possible. So the Bible and all other holy books, guess what category they fit into? Mythology, whether you like it or not. Can we prove it? No. But that's the thing, is you would need proof to show that those miracles are even possible before we could say that maybe they happened. What we can say is somebody somewhere wrote it down. Maybe we can figure out who and when and where by using science. But can we know for sure? No. Yeah. So we have to be a bit skeptical about history. So what? Why is that a problem?
All we can do is gain plausible evidence for things, but it doesn't mean that we can prove it undeniably.
Okay, sure. So is God like history? So God is only in history. God existed once upon a time, but died, and now it's not around anymore. So now we have to utilize the same methods of history on God to uncover that it once existed, but now it's dead? Is that what you're saying?
And so I'm not sure why it's such a problem that science can't explain or box in God.
Well, again, it depends what you think God is. If you think that God interacts with this world, then it should be something that we could test or verify in some way. But apparently, it isn't. It's not that sort of thing. So is God historical? No. Okay. Is God active currently? No. Okay. Then what is it? Sounds like you made it up to me. And without any evidence to suggest otherwise, it's made up. And so it's not scientific, not even a little bit. If it's historical and it happened in the past, great. So you have writings about it then. Do those writings make claims that we can't verify? If yes, then guess what? Mythology. And you're back in the same boat. People wrote something about God, said it was true. People believed it at the time. They still believe some of that today. And that's all you've got is a belief. It's a faith. You don't have facts. Just have faith. That's it. That's what you got. That's not scientific. That's not what we want. We want proof. You don't have it. That's why these things are in conflict, because you guys insist that God is real rather than just being okay with saying that you believe in God and that you have a faith in God. If you just said you had a faith in God, I don't care. Do whatever you want with that. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But if you say God is real, then prove it. You can't prove it. So then don't say it's real. Say it's a belief. Then as far as science go, now here's the problem that's unique to religion is, sadly, and this is your problem, not an our problem, many believers in God deny science, deny the age of the universe, the age of the earth, biological evolution, the shape of the fucking earth, whatever. They'll deny it left, right, up, and down because reasons that they've tied into that and God's existence. So you have to look at it this way or it's not true. So you have to read Genesis this certain way or God doesn't exist. Okay, I guess God doesn't exist then because the world is not that young. It just isn't. So game over. There was no Adam and Eve. Uh-oh, that's a problem. But we want there to be an Adam and Eve. Well, but there wasn't one. So now it's a metaphor. Okay, great. What else? How? So everybody born from Adam and Eve is also a metaphor. Yeah, sure. Okay, God. Then Jesus is a metaphor because he traces his lineage back to Adam and Eve. Whoa. Well, so you're going to run into problems. You're going to have to deny reality at some level if you want to say that it really happened. If you're fine with saying it's all a metaphor, it's just I believe. God didn't leave enough evidence for us behind that God wanted us to believe in it for whatever reason. Fine, great. But you don't do that. You say it's real, and then you incur the burden of proof. And because you have the burden of proof, then you need to demonstrate it. You have no way to demonstrate it. You're admitting to this, and you're saying, well, why God's boxed in? It's fucking God. Why can't it just be obvious? Hello? Because it's not. Because God is made up. It's an idea that we invented. Nothing more. Otherwise, there's really there are reasons you have that you could give, but they're not very good reasons of why the bleep is God so well hidden.
When science can't explain or box in a lot of things, and there's a lot even beneath.
You were already wrong about the things that you thought science couldn't box in or explain. But here's the problem. Even if you could find a few examples that science can't explain and then say, well, God is one of those things, well, you're assuming that, first of all. Have you run experiments on God? I mean, I just ran a very simple experiment on God. Hey, God, levitate this off my hand. Nothing. Okay, I got to throw it. God won't do it for me, so I got to do it myself. That was pretty simple. Now, if I said every time, if I said, God, make this damn thing disappear, poof, and that would be amazing, but it doesn't happen. Here's what we could do. We could put a steel ball bearing. Actually, probably a box would be better, a cube. That way it doesn't roll around. Put a cube under a thick glass container and put a big old light on it. And, make sure it's well guarded and it doesn't knock off easily. And have everybody in the world pray for that thing to move up at all. And we have some sort of sensors on it. It's not going to move. It's not going to budge. No amount of prayer is going to affect that damn thing. None. Doesn't matter who you pray to, what you pray to, how hard you pray, what sacrifices are made. It's not going to budge. I know that without a doubt. Don't even need to run the experiment. The fact is that you guys have never even tried says something to me. And what's interesting about that and demanding a test is the Bible, if you're going to go by that. I don't know what religion you are. I'm guessing maybe Christian, probably, I don't know. But in the Judeo-Christian Bible, actually, yeah, I think it's in the Old Testament. But God versus Baal, this happens. There's a test that they fucking perform. And God wins the test. Well, if God doesn't change, then we could do that test today. Have we tried? What was the result? Why haven't Christians been doing this test to prove to us? In fact, there is an idea of the gifts of the Spirit that were supposedly active in order to make the church spread. What really made the church spread was politics, but we're going to pretend that didn't happen. Anyways, so these things are meant to be spiritual gifts that prove that God is with those people. Well, that would be pretty cool, but it doesn't happen. None of these gifts are provable or testable in any way, shape, or form. So we got nothing. Why should we believe you?
Science that we take as just fundamentally true, that can't be proven, but is often utilized by science. God used to be one of these things, although he's not below science, he's above it, he transcends it. But God used to be one of these things, and now we've lost that entirely.
Well, you are losing the God debate because more and more people are coming to accept the scientific methodology as being the best method that we have, period, end of story. And I think that if we are comfortable, and I think we should be, in wrapping informal and formal logic into the venue of the scientific methodology, that's it. That would be the method to use, and there wouldn't be any other. Because right now I have to separate the two. I don't like doing that. Logic is its own thing, and science is its own thing, kind of. But they interact. It's not under the thing of science, but it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. It's weird. But at any rate, yeah, it's the best method we have. We don't have any other method. If you want to invent a method, you're welcome to try, but you got nothing. That's what you've got. And you think that you have things that you think that science can't address. But yes, science can address all those things. It's just you don't like the answers that science provides, maybe. But science absolutely can address every single thing that you already brought up. You say, well, but science can't prove history. It can prove a lot about history. Maybe not all of it, but so what? Then you're skeptical about it. Then you don't know. That's fine. No problem there. Socrates, don't know if he existed. Don't care. Aristotle, same thing. Don't care if he existed or not. Somebody said that he did. Somebody wrote stuff claiming to be him. That's all I know. I don't know who actually did. And I don't care. Doesn't matter. Doesn't affect me at all. Abraham Lincoln, did he exist? I think so. If he didn't, oh well. Not a big deal. But definitely what didn't happen is that Abraham Lincoln definitely did not go against a horde of zombies. Even though there's a movie, Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies. Just didn't happen. Damn, that sucks, because that would have been a cool bit of history. But it doesn't happen. Why? Zombies aren't a thing. Wasn't there a story in the Bible where zombies were a thing? Oh yeah, there was. There is. Yeah. In one of the Gospels, whole bunch of people come back up from the dead and they walk around for a while. But nobody bothered to record it except one dude way later after it happened. Because that's a thing that would happen. Hey, that's Grandma. Hey, Grandma. Now, you think we should write that down? Nah. Well, they were pretty much illiterate. Why didn't God teach anybody how to read or write during the time he was around? Jesus didn't write down a thing himself. Why is that? I don't know. Anyways.
Think about this, like numbers. Numbers cannot be proven by science, and yet
numbers cannot be proven by science. Numbers fucking can't be proven by science! Ah! 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 And furthermore, anyways, now that I'm done screaming into the void, yes, they can. Oh, you want me to do that? No, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to say they can. I'm leaving it up to you guys. But yes, they can. So, he just doesn't know how. So, no, it's not an empty claim. I could totally do it. Not going to do it. I'm just going to say it. So, no, but they can be. So, yeah.
They are used within science all the time as absolute fact. If no person is around to observe that there are 2 trees there, there still are 2 trees there. That number 2 exists outside of observation.
The number 2 does not exist outside of observation. The number 2 does not exist other than a construct of the mind. Are you like a Platonist or something? Like, it's the form of 2. It's out there. It exists. 2 trees is not the number 2. That's not how things work of. I don't think you know how number work of. Please send somebody that know how number work to explain to this guy how number work of. I don't know that I'm the sort of guy that can explain how number work of. But number work of the way that he knows of the number work of. No. What the hell did I just say?
And so science, by definition, cannot prove that there's 2. It cannot prove the numerical nature of things. And yet we use it all the time in science as if it's no problem.
No do all of that. You're just wrong about all of that. So, no. I don't know what else to say, but no. I don't know how to explain how wrong you are. I really don't. You're just wrong. No, I mean, where do you begin? I mean, this would take like 3 or 4 hours for me to explain abstract objects to this guy. Oh, I don't wanna. Am I gonna do it? No, I'm not gonna do it. I could though. Don't think I couldn't. I'll do it. Don't think I won't. I will. All right, back to the thing.
A long time ago, and actually even now, we're made to feel like scientists are all atheists, they're all naturalists, they're all against God. This is not true.
What? A long time ago, but also now. Once upon a time, but also now. That reminds me of a Mitch Hedberg joke. This guy, he was a funny comedian, died way too soon because of drugs. He said, I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to as well. Anyways, no, we're not. No, the majority of scientists are not believers. Like, especially when you get into certain fields, they're not. Like, I think physicists are a higher percentage. We could turn to, like, actual surveys to show you this. But why would we do that? We don't need to cite anything. We're not going to prove any points. But yes, there are believers that happen to be Christian. that don't mean nothing. You have to set aside your belief in order to do science. So that's the problem. You don't God isn't a thing that science do, because God can't be tested because reasons.
I agree that it's kind of been lessening over time. Less and less are scientists of the Christian persuasion, but this has not always been the case. Louis Pasteur, incredibly famous scientist, is famed for having said, "A little science estranges man from God, but much science leads them back to him."
Well, he was wrong, because a little science should lead you completely away from God, and if you keep doing science, you shouldn't come back to God. Why would you? Why? Why would you? When you have reality already, why would you need God? I don't know the answer. I'm just asking. I don't know. Man, I'm white. Why am I so white today? I feel like extra white today. It's this lighting or something. I don't know. This maybe I need a new bulb. This bulb has been here for like years. Why am I wasting time talking about a light bulb and being white? What the fuck is wrong with me? This guy has melted my brain. Why did I start watching this video? I was like, I'm going to review this video. It's going to be really easy. It's going to be a short video. I'm going to tell him he's wrong, and that's going to be the end of the video. It's not going to spend an hour here wasting on it. No, now I'm doing this. Now I'm wasting time explaining the fact that I shouldn't be wasting time. Why am I doing that? For entertainment? Does it entertain anyone? I don't know. I think it does. I don't know what I'm doing. Put the video back on.
So many of our scientists from the past were motivated to ask the certain questions about nature that caused the hypotheses, that caused the experiments, that caused the observation, because they believed that God had made it, and they wanted to seek out what he had done and why he had done it, to try and bring themselves closer to understanding.
And then when evolution came around, they're like, fuck that shit. Fucking C.S. Lewis going against evolution and other Christians at the time. Oh no, not evolution. Fucking assholes. Anyways, yeah.
What God has done in his creation. This is just the reality of the situation. Now, this is so important to know, because one really, really good example of an atheist saying that, well, it's either Christianity or science, or it's either science or God, is Ricky Gervais in 2017. He was on.
Yeah, we have plenty of examples of Christians doing this, so I don't really care. Doesn't matter. Whatever.
On the Colbert Show, and he brought up this argument that I think is really interesting, but also
did we get a clip of it?
Ripe with this false dichotomy and this red
citation
herring. And I've seen
is there any citation, any link at all? No, of course not. No, why would there be? I mean, I'm sure it's on YouTube. Should I look it up? I mean, all right, might as well. Ricky on Stephen about God. Yeah, sure. Okay. Let's see. All right. So let's see. Let's see if I can find the thing that he's talking about or not. I found a clip, but he's not talking about that. That didn't happen in this clip, so I don't. No, I can't find it. Fuck it. Screw it. I don't care anymore.
This clip played a lot lately.
And I'm sure
you have too.
No.
I'm not sure why it's.
Wait, when did you make this video? The 19th. I don't see any. I don't see the video that you're talking about. I don't see this clip. So you didn't link it. He says played a lot. Maybe on your side, but not on mine. A link would have been nice. I don't know what you're talking about. Why is this pissing me off? Must be I'm a demon. Sorry, that was a different video. I saw a video talking about how you can identify demons. Or no, it was like there's demons on YouTube or something. I'm like, how do you identify a demon? I don't know. Anyways.
resurfaced, but it seems to have. But Ricky Gervais is talking with Stephen Colbert, and Stephen says, you know, Ricky, I don't need to prove God to you. I don't feel like I need to force that belief on you. And yet I feel for you in a way because...
Yeah, and it's all an act. It's all an act on Stephen's part. Like, he's playing this role. He don't believe in nothing except for his wallet. Like, it's a game for him. Anyways, whatever. I mean, we're talking about fucking red herrings.
I have this desire to have gratitude to something higher for all the things that are lower. So he's like...
But he doesn't, not really. I mean, he's saying that because that's a thing people say. I don't have that desire. That doesn't prove anything at all. You can have desires, and those desires can be completely, utterly fictional, not real in nature. I would love for there to be an actual Sailor Mercury who really exists. Don't get me started with all the anime waifus that I wish were real, because I have a list. I mean, I don't have a list. I'm probably on a list, but, you know, well, anyways, that don't make them real. You can desire something that don't exist. You can also desire something that do exist. You cannot desire something that do exist, or not desire something that don't exist. It don't prove that the damn thing exists. If you bring up C.S. Lewis, I'm throwing my blue sheep at you. Okay? I'm going to throw my fucking blue sheep at you. I don't know how, but I'm going to do it. Don't bring up C.S. Lewis. Don't you do it. Don't you fucking do it.
Like, looking around, he's like, I have this innate desire within me to be grateful towards a higher power. And he just sees it as a good thing in his life, which is really surprising because, honestly, the media seems to be going farther and farther away from God all the time. So the fact that he admitted this and spoke very publicly about this, I thought was a really interesting thing.
Okay. Stephen Colbert is not really a Christian. So the fact that you don't really know that says a lot to me. Like, I mean, the he's a faker. I mean, come on. He's not really that way. Like, he's putting on an act. I think that's pretty obvious. Like, you know. Didn't he also change his name? Stephen Colbert. Let's see. Comedy, writer, producer, political commentator, actor, television host. Okay. Do we know what his real religion is, though? Or do we just know what he's pretended? He says he's a Catholic. Maybe. Maybe he's like a cultural Catholic. I don't know. It's hard to say. I kind of don't really believe it. Just because he's an actor and it's a put-on stick, you know. Anyways, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Don't matter.
But Ricky Gervais comes back and he says, you know, I understand that, and I have empathy for that. The problem is, if I were to take every fictional book and every holy book and destroy them, not just physical copies, but destroy them from people's minds, and then I were to do the same thing with every science textbook, well, in 1,000 years, the holy books and the fictional books would not come back, but the science books would, because the same tests can be done, the same observations made, hypotheses tested, and we would have science books again. So this is his argument for why he trusts science but doesn't really need faith in other things. But this is a great example of the false dichotomy people often put up. First of all, I want to say, who made this the litmus test? This is a very common tactic of atheists and skeptics to say, well, if God would just do this, or if...
It's common? Really? It's an interesting argument, and you're not even going to rebuttal the argument. You're just going to go off on a tangent. Okay. Sure. What the hell are you doing? Oh, I'm not going to throw you. It's okay. It's all right. Sorry. Why are you looking at me kissing this? Oh, yeah. Later. Anyways. What? Don't judge me. Go ahead and judge me. It's fine. I don't care. Yes, I fucked my blue sheep. Somebody clip that. I don't care. There's no hole. How would I do? Okay, anyways. I've lost my mind. He's made me lose my mind. I don't know. Whatever. Just whatever. Fuck it. I don't care.
If he acted in this way, then
right. That's what it is. Okay. So yeah, no. Okay. So the actual argument you don't care. Okay. So it is, I think, absolutely true what he said, and it's not original. I have heard it somewhere else. But yes, if you got rid of all the religious stuff, including what's in your mind or whatever, boom, gone. That's it. Doesn't exist anymore, right? Now, he says in 1,000, and you did that with science as well. Well, we're fucked, but but yes, in a few years we would recover some knowledge of science because we could do science. Okay, we can learn things from the real world. But he's wrong about religion not coming back. Religion would totally make a comeback. In fact, it'd probably be the most prevalent thing on a world that forgot about science for a long, long time. But it wouldn't be the same types of religion that we had in the past. At least not identical. They due to human behavior, they have some similarities that an outside observer could see. But yeah. So technically, he's not right about religion not returning. But that's kind of the thing is what he's saying is it wouldn't return as is. So the idea of Jesus is in the past, and that's where it's stuck. It's static. So if it was forgotten about, that's it. It's gone. If the books are deleted and nobody remembers, it's dead. It doesn't come back. And many religions have died because of that. Their writings, they didn't have any, and the people that believed in it, they died out, or they started believing other stuff, or whatever, or combination thereof. And so we don't even know about that religion just because it's lost to time. An active, real God, why would it allow that to be? But science is all the time, everywhere. We can do it constantly, 100%, no problem. So God, if it exists, is equal to every other God that no longer exists because they have died out. All those God concepts, millions on millions of God concepts that we don't know a damn thing about, those are gone. Aztecs gods, gone. Don't know anything about them. We know that they worshiped something. We know that they did human sacrifice. That's about it. Whatever. We don't know much else. We can guess, but we don't know for sure. Probably some bird god or something. We don't know for sure, though. Lots of God concepts gone. Now, there's some God concepts that are still around, but nobody really believes in them, or very, 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 very few people do. Like the Greek pantheon or the Roman pantheon. People don't really believe in those gods anymore. Although our days and our planets still have their names, and our months as well reflect gods that were out there at some point or some other thing. I don't even know. I'm not sure about the months. Don't quote me on that. But so we're still carrying around these gods to some degree, but we don't believe in them anymore. We don't worship them actively anymore. Maybe one guy or a couple people out there, somebody does, but same thing with the Egyptian gods. Those are gone. A handful of people believe in them. So they're pretty much gone to history. And your God is like that too. It will one day not be around. It will be a memory of the past. A few people will believe in it, and that number will continue to dwindle as time goes on. And less people will believe in it as time goes on. That's what will happen. Every religion suffers that fate. Period. No getting around it. you will go extinct as a belief. It will happen because God is identical to all the gods, period. That's the point being made. But you don't want to address that point. You don't want to deal with that point. So you're going to go off on a red herring and a tangent and address some other point that isn't being made, which means a straw man. All right, let's see what you have to say.
I would believe in him. I've heard one person even say, if he wrote in the stars my name and then said, I am God, then I would believe.
Yeah, that'd be pretty convincing, but it can just levitate the damn thing. Then I'd have something to go on. But God doesn't do anything, so.
And yet, I really don't trust that that's the case because he's already done.
Well, I don't care what you trust. I don't care. Doesn't matter. I know what it would take to convince me. If you don't believe me, fuck you. That's all I got to say. If you don't believe what I said, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. That's all. I got nothing for you. If you don't want to believe what I'm telling you would convince me, fuck you. I don't want to talk to you anymore. You're an asshole. You have to accept what I say on this matter. Because I can't, well, without a test of some sort that we could set up, I can't prove to you what would take to convince me. But it's really not that difficult. The same amount of evidence that I have for fucking anything else. That would convince me. But as a start, just a start, hello, nothing happens. God doesn't do diddly squat. I know this without a doubt. I've seen it not do things over and over again. Have your God, look, see this? Okay, come here, camera. All right, see this little blue mark here? Okay, yeah, it might look black on your screen. Okay, that is a scar that I've had for years. Okay, get your God to remove the scar. Just poof, gone. I've got another one here on my arm. Here we go. Here's another one. I don't know that you'll be able to see that. Very, very pale. Probably not. Whatever. I got a scar there too. Have God remove that scar. No? Okay. Why not? Tell you what. Have your God heal your eyesight so you don't need those glasses anymore. No? Okay. Well, maybe God might do that one. But God won't heal scars. Why is that? It's really weird what God will and won't do. It's almost like God can only do stuff that sometimes happens because of natural phenomenon anyways. But scar healing doesn't. We don't heal scars. That's not a thing humans do. We could use science to heal it. I could get plastic surgery. I can beat God. We beat God all the time. We do better than God all the time with our medical science. God doesn't seem to do diddly squat. Why? I don't know. That's a you problem, not a me problem. But yeah, God won't do anything that I want it to do ever. Not even a little. It won't demonstrate itself at all, ever, period. Not gonna happen. And you can say, well, but if God did that, you still wouldn't believe that all you want. But God's not going to do it, period. It's not going to happen, and it won't happen. Prove me wrong. I'd love you to do it. You won't, you can't, because God won't. It isn't a thing. Now, what you're about to say next is incredibly stupid. Let's check it out.
Done so many amazing supernatural and natural things, and yet we don't want to believe. So I think.
What supernatural things has God done? Where? When? How do you know about them? Are they written in some book? Well, whoopee-doo. There's a book that says lots of magical things have happened called The Lobsterist. Do you believe in that God? No, you've never heard of it? Well, you need to read it, damn it. Read The Lobsterist. Debunk The Lobsterist. Somebody, somewhere do it. Nobody has done it. How many times do I have to say people to do it? Not many. Anyways.
think it's more a problem with desire or motivation rather than just not having seen the evidence.
Yeah. We've heard that bullshit a million times. No, it's nothing to do with desire or motivation or my heart. Oh, I just don't want to believe because I just want to sin. No, I don't have any fucking goddamn evidence of a God. That's the problem. That's it. It's nothing else. Period. Every single atheist in my chat room right now will tell you basically the same thing using their own words. In fact, I would love for all of you to go over on his channel and post your reason for not believing. Let him know why you don't believe in God. And I guarantee it's going to be the same. We're all going to be saying the same thing. We don't have evidence. That's why we don't believe. It's not a problem of desire. It's not a problem of the heart. It's not this. It's not that. It's that we don't have evidence. If we had the evidence, then we'd have something to go on. But we don't. And God absolutely refuses to give us anything at all, even a little bit. So I don't believe in it. I used to. I don't anymore. And this wishy-washy, here's what you believe, here's what you think, here's what you feel nonsense that you guys do, I'm not standing for it. I know what it would take to convince me. And it's the same amount of evidence that I have for everything else. Empirical evidence, repeatable tests, valid and sound argument. You have none of those. What you have is a belief. That's it. I don't have that belief. You do. That's a you problem. If you want me to have that belief, then give me what I want. You can't do it. That's what deconverted me, is realizing that the Christians who pretend that they have that evidence don't have any evidence. That's why I deconverted. I was like, damn, I thought we had the truth. We don't. So I couldn't keep being that. I couldn't keep being a liar to myself and others. I won't do it. Don't you dare put words and thoughts in my head or my mouth and tell me what would or wouldn't convince me. Don't do that. I'm tired of it. And fuck you for doing it. Is that clear enough? I hope so. We're going to hear it again from some other nitwit, I'm sure. God, it pisses me off.
Christian apologists come up with evidence all the time.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Not a single damn Christian apologist has ever come up with any evidence at all. Not a single one.
Logically and philosophically prove, at least plausibly, the existence of God.
Nope. They haven't. There is no such thing as philosophical proof. It's not a thing. It's not real. Logical, if you had a valid and sound argument, you don't. But if you had a sound argument, we'd have something to go on. Valid, maybe. Sound, never. Never seen one. And I've looked at many. I can't claim to look at them all, but I've looked at many. So no, they haven't ever proven any of that. Not even a little. And the fact that you think that they have is really sad. Just pathetic.
And yet it's not wanted to be listened to by science because it is.
It's not wanted to be listened to by science. That's the most moronic thing that I've heard so far. No, the number thing is pretty much up there too. I don't know how to scale this, but it's pretty dumb. Science don't do the thing that you're asking it to do here. It is not a thing that want thing. People do, not science of.
Isn't in the scientific field. Philosophy and science, those are different fields. But Ricky forgets.
Yeah, science works. Philosophy is just about thinking about shit. So yeah, they're different fields, all right.
That he's talking about things that, like fictional books, if you get rid of those, well, yes, those are art from a period in history. Those were the products of a mind. So you're right. They wouldn't come back just how they are because the same mind isn't around now to make those things happen.
Oh, okay. So you do agree then, if we lost religion, that you would lose your religion as well. So you get it. You just don't like it. I don't. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
But he also forgets that so many things, especially within Christianity, hinge on historical things happening.
Like what?
Jesus Christ entered into existence. He entered into human existence, anyways, and he became a man. He lived and died in a period of history. And a lot of our faith has to do with that.
But you would lose all that if you lost the religion. Those things are recorded in a book that would vanish. They're not supported by anything other than that book. Do you not know how the Bible came to be? Probably not. That would take another 4 or 5 hours or days to explain the history of the Bible. Why is it that Christians do not know the history of their own Bible? Why? I don't know. They don't. Just saying, broadly speaking, that's like they are so ignorant of their history. They have no idea. And I'll prove it. Hey, guy, you're listening still? Maybe? Hello? You still out there? There, truth be told, person guy that I don't know the name of, who I'm calling Matt. If you're still watching, you didn't give up when I flipped you off a million times. I doubt it, but whatever. Yeah, he's not going to watch this video. It's way too long. It's an hour long. What the hell is wrong with me? Anyways, if he was listening, here's the thing. All right. All of that stuff that you believe happened in history, it's, when was that stuff written? Okay? What date? What's the earliest manuscripts that we have of that? The earliest stuff that we have. Okay. Who wrote it? Where? When? Who found it? Where? When? How many parts were found? How were they assembled together? Who assembled it? Do you know? How did they decide what was or wasn't canon? Who decided it? What method was used? What languages were used? Who first translated it? How was it translated? Do you know? You don't? Can you name the 12 disciples off the top of your head? Some Christians can't even do that. How about all the books of the Bible? Can you name them all? I thought the Bible was supposed to be the most important book in the world. Doesn't seem like you're treating it that way. But if it vanished, if the memory of that vanished and the book vanished, there's zero in history that is not in the Bible about Jesus. Now, wait, I know. Oh, but Tacitus. Yeah, he's talking about Christians. That would have been wiped out from history with the magical wipeout that Darius is talking about. That would be gone too. Or even if we left it, be like, Christians, who were they? I don't know. What do they believe? No idea. Because it's gone. Oh, and the forgery part, that definitely would be gone. Yeah, the forgery that totally was written in that we know is a forgery, that would be gone. None of the historians that came way after Jesus supposedly was, none of them talk about Jesus directly. They talk about the people that believe in them. The people that wrote down stuff about Jesus weren't there during the time of Jesus. Now, people like to pretend that they did this investigative work to ask questions and do history, but we don't know what they did to get that story. We have no idea how they decided to write down what they decided to write down and who they got that information from. I know people like to pretend that they really asked a whole bunch of people, but I don't know why they would, and there's nothing to indicate that they did. These were not critical people. Some dude, we don't even know, was probably just paid money to write down the current story that was the most popular.
And that's how we got the earliest gospel, probably. We don't even really know. Saved you some time, but you haven't done the research yourself, and that says a lot. Anyways, back to this stupid video, I guess.
God created all things before time existed, and we can look back in time just after that moment. And science says, well, I don't know what happened before that because it's not observable, repeatable, testable, falsifiable, etc. And I say, you're right. I'm really glad that you've admitted a limitation of science there.
Yeah, and that's it. That's where you should stop. We don't know yet. Now, maybe we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll make a model. There's several proposals for several models that will actually answer that question. I've listened to World Science Festival where they've talked about this. It's really cool stuff. Some of the stuff is amazing. There's one thing out there, I don't know if it's going to gain traction or not, but this one guy thinks the universe is much older than what we currently think. That's pretty cool. We'll see. But yeah, we don't know right now, and that's where you should stop. Just say, I don't know. That's fine. It's a mystery. But it's not like we can't do it. It's just we don't have a way to do it right now. We don't have the model right now, but maybe we'll figure it out. I don't know.
But then they'll come up with different hypotheses.
Yeah, that's part of fucking science.
Believe, solve the problem without giving the hypothesis of God or an intelligent mind.
We've tried that. That is to say, theists have tried that. Okay. A mind. What is a mind? Let's start there. What is a mind? You want to make it into science? Let's do it. Let's make it into science. Define mind. There's many definitions available to you. Let's see your abstract on it. What is the mind? Start there. What predictions can you make based on that? Let's see it. Let's see you do it. Go for it. I want to see you make that scientific paper. Submit it into some peer-reviewed publications. If they all reject you, every single one, they'll give you reasons why they rejected you. Look carefully at those reasons. Some of them you won't even get in because you won't make it past the process because the process is damn hard. I looked at it. It's beyond me. I'll tell you that. But there's nothing to stop somebody who wanted to do it from doing it. If you could make a model that was coherent, that made predictions, you certainly are welcome to attempt to do so using the methods of science. Guess what? Nobody has. But you're welcome to try. Go ahead. I'll wait. And don't just sit there and go, well, but somebody will. You do it. You think it can be done? Do it then. Nothing's stopping you. There's absolutely zero that will stop you from making the attempt. Here's why it won't work. It won't work because you would need a way to falsify it. So you don't have that. Right now, your proposal is a mind. What do you mean by that? A conscious being. Okay, cool. What kind of conscious being? Okay, what predictions can we make based on that? What model can we make? I don't know. But let's do that. Go ahead and do it. It's been tried, I'll tell you that, and it has failed. Why? For numerous reasons. Usually all theological reasons. It's not scientific, not because it's prevented from being scientific, but because it's not scientific. It just isn't. The model isn't able to make explanations like the other models. And if you could do it, then you would have done it by now. But you haven't. None of you guys have. Not even a little. You haven't. Well, I dare say some of you have tried, but nobody's really tried. You know what I'm saying? Like, really tries. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see an actual effort made. I don't think we will. Not from this guy.
Enough credit. But the reality is, a lot of Christianity hinges on historical events because God did a miraculous thing at a point in time in history.
Well, that's your claim, but you have nothing to prove that.
And he acted in a way that was a bridging of the gap between the supernatural and the natural.
That's your claim. You need to prove it.
Science cannot observe that. They cannot repeat.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That. They cannot test that or falsify that. And so they choose to reject it. And
no, it's not a choice. It's how the thing works. Your beliefs are in the realm of mythology because we have no example of people able to do the supernatural stuff that you think Jesus did. If we had an example, then we could go on something maybe, but we don't. So it's not that we don't accept it, it's that we can't accept it until you produce proof that it's possible, which you don't have, and you won't have, and you can't have. Wah, cry me a river. I thought you were trying to explain why science wasn't against religion, but here you are complaining that it's against religion. Which is it? It can't test your claims. Your claims are not scientific then. That's your problem, not mine. That's a you problem.
And that's fine. If you want to choose to reject it, that's okay. But to say that we only have to operate in this field of science, well, then you have to get rid of all of history.
No, you don't. You just have to be skeptical of mythology. And maybe, in general, skeptical about history. But you don't just get rid of it. That's stupid. That's a dumb thing. It's an appeal to consequence. We don't have to get rid of anything. Except for maybe silly, wacky beliefs like what you have. That might be a good idea.
You have to get rid of all of art. You have
art? What about art? Art's art. The fuck are you talking about? Why would we have to get rid of art? That's incoherent. Explain.
You have to get rid of numbers completely. You have to get
again with the numbers.
Get rid of subjective experience.
Kind of, but not really. The scientific method is able to deal with the subjective experience by ironing out the problems of the subjective experience. You don't get rid of it, but you do recognize that there's times when you should be skeptical of your subjective experience. Moronic! Yay! Whee!
That's just not true. You have to get rid of moral values.
No, you don't. There's plenty of ethical systems available to you, and all the ethical systems can be studied by science. Even DCT, the worst ethical system of all, DCT can be studied by science. You're just wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You've been wrong this whole video. Wrong.
And this is so often where atheists and skeptics go. They get closer and closer to this, where they're just getting rid of all of these things.
No, you're getting rid of all the things. I'm telling you that you're wrong about all that. And you're kind of stupid about it. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's just wrong.
Because they're lifting up science as like the one true thing.
It's the best thing that we've got.
That we must believe in.
We don't need to believe in it. That's the great thing. It works whether you believe in it or not. Science works. Religion pretends. Religion asserts. Science proves. Belief is asserted. Science is proven and testable and demonstrable and works. Faith, maybe it makes you feel good, but that's it.
The amazing thing about being a Christian and having faith in God is that you can have God and science and history and philosophy.
No, you really can't. You can have a belief in God, and then you can set that aside and then do science, and you can do real history, and then you have to believe that your mythology is actual history, so you have to separate it out from reality. And the same is true for all religions. You have to separate your beliefs from reality. Beliefs, reality. Science explores reality and can explore your beliefs to some degree and explain why you believe what you believe through psychology, through how humans interact with each other. The lack of knowledge you've already displayed tells me everything I need to know about you. You don't understand numbers. You don't understand scientific concepts. Not really. You know a little bit, but not enough. You don't seem to understand logic even a little. You seem to think that apologists have given us proof when they haven't. So, and you don't seem to know where or when the Bible came from or how that came to be or anything like that. So I know that you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Philosophy and subjective experience and moral values, and all of them are compatible. You're taking all of the evidence and you're weighing it all together.
There isn't any evidence for your God. That's the problem. You think that those things are evidence, but they're not. That's a you problem. We're almost done.
The problem with the just science side is that they're taking only science and are forced to deny everything else that we understand to be a part of reality, and they have to deny that. And that's just not a very stable place to be. So if you're a Christian and you find yourself in these kinds of discussions, don't worry about it. If they ask you to leave God at the door, refuse, because your side offers a lot more evidence from a lot more different disciplines than science-only mindset offers up.
Wrong. Just completely, utterly wrong. You got nothing. I'm going to post why I don't believe in God in his comment section now, because I told you all to do that. I don't believe in God because I have no evidence, tests, or sound arguments for it. The end. There you go. Anyway, it's not that it matters. Anyway, oh yeah, also I did a short video about your video, Matt. All right, there's my comment. I posted it. That's it. My God, that took longer than I thought it would. Oh well, there's stuff that was said in chat that I missed. What do we got? We had somebody come in here saying some nonsense. I saw that and I couldn't respond to it. This dude. Bro thinks he creates himself. What the fuck are you talking about? Who thinks that? How do you know that they think that? What bro? How do you know what they think? Do you have a way to read minds? Say you're not Christian, but God is the reason you're here, bub. Okay, you're not Christian, but God is the reason you're here, bub. I said it. It's not true, but okay, I said it. I am not Christian. That part's true. The second part, I don't know if that's true or not. So I can say the first part that you wanted me to say, but not really the second part, and be honest. Weird. So what do you believe in, my friend? Science and logic. And I don't really even need to believe in those things because I can see that they work, and they do work, and they keep working. And I don't need to believe in them. They just work. So there's my answers to that nonsense that happened in chat. And that's it. We're just about, that's about it. So we're done with this, I guess. And I likely believe that my parents created me after a long process of evolution. Kind of. Like, yes, biological evolution led to Homo sapiens, that eventually would lead to my parents, that eventually led to me, I guess. But don't assume, ask. Just do that. It's better for everybody. But I absolutely believe in lobsters. This is not even a question. Lobsters exist. So there's that. And if you haven't read it, I encourage you to read it. That's right. You know what I'm talking about. I don't even need to say it, but I'm going to say it anyways because it's funny and I like it. The Lobsterist. That's right. Have you not tried to debunk the Lobsterist? If not, why not? Have you read it? If not, why not? Read The Lobsterist. Here's a link in the chat. I'm going to put the link in the comment and I'm going to pin it. And I swear, nobody will debunk it. Nobody will even try. Let's try one more time just for funsies. Hey, God, levitate sheep off my hand. Nothing. Thanks for watching. Numbers fucking aren't scientific. What the fuck? All right. Anyways, okay. Woo! All right, time to get naked now. Yep, time to get naked. All right, here we go. Let's get naked. Oh, yeah, let's take off those clothes. Here we go. Time to get naked. Time to get naked. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit, I'm still streaming. Oh, no.